AI jobs dominate LinkedIn's fastest growing careers list. Microsoft closes the OneDrive loophole and may delete unlicensed accounts. Nvidia's CEO shares a bold vision of the company's future at CES 2025. And Meta backs down on fact-checking to appease right-wing criticism. Welcome to #Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. AI-focused jobs are dominating LinkedIn's new jobs on the rise list in the US, with artificial intelligence engineer taking the top spot. Released Tuesday, the report shows roles like AI consultant and workforce development manager are also among the fastest growing careers, despite recent layoffs across the tech sector. LinkedIn found that more than half of the jobs on this year's list didn't exist 25 years ago, and it's not just the US seeing this trend. Here in Canada, AI-related job postings have surged, with a 48% increase in roles that require expertise in running AI systems. A separate report ranks Canada first among G7 nations for growth in AI talent concentration over the past 5 years. Despite AI's rise, there's still a demand for in-person roles. LinkedIn's list includes travel advisors and event coordinators, showing that people are craving more face-to-face interactions as we head into 2025. The bottom line? AI isn't replacing jobs outright, at least yet. But for those who know how to make it work, the job market looks promising. Microsoft is closing a long-exploited loophole in its OneDrive storage platforms. Starting January 27, 2025, unlicensed OneDrive accounts, often created when employees leave organizations and their licenses are removed, will be moved to the recycle bin or archived after 93 days, with permanent deletion following after another 93 days. This loophole allowed companies to retain free OneDrive storage indefinitely by removing user licenses but keeping the data. Microsoft says that these accounts pose security and compliance risks and create file duplication issues. Companies that need to reactivate archived accounts will have to pay 60 cents per gigabyte to retrieve the data, plus a monthly fee of 5 cents per gigabyte to maintain the accounts. Microsoft provided an example. For 100 unlicensed accounts consuming 1 terabyte each, the organization would face significant costs to reactivate and maintain that data. For businesses relying on unlicensed OneDrive storage, the message is clear: pay up or risk losing access to your data. Microsoft claims the move is about security and compliance, but it's clear that closing the free storage loophole has an impact on revenue for Microsoft. Nvidia has been at the center of the AI revolution, powering major breakthroughs in generative AI. The company built the platform used to develop OpenAI's early models, and since then, most major players have relied on Nvidia's infrastructure. But the market is shifting. Companies like Google and Microsoft are building their own chips to reduce reliance on Nvidia. And inference processing, the AI that happens after a question is asked, not in the training, doesn't always require Nvidia's GPUs. In fact, AMD and Intel are very competitive in this space. So at CES 2025, CEO Jensen Huang laid out how Nvidia plans to stay ahead. He described a new era of physical AI, AI that can see, reason, plan, and act in the real world. It started with perception AI and then generative AI. Now, he says, we're entering the era of physical AI. One of the biggest announcements was Project Digits, a personal AI supercomputer powered by the Grace Blackwell superchip. It's small enough to fit in a pocket, but powerful enough to run Nvidia's entire AI stack without cloud access. Huang said, every software engineer, every creative artist, everyone who uses computers today as a tool will need an AI supercomputer. Nvidia also announced AI foundation models for PCs offered as NIM microservices, bringing enterprise-level AI tools to everyday users. Developers can now create digital humans, podcasts, and videos on consumer hardware. And in robotics, Nvidia launched Cosmos, a platform Juan described as a virtual brain for robots and self-driving cars. Cosmos simulates real-world scenarios to help machines predict and act on future events. Juan called it the ChatGPT moment for robotics, with companies like Toyota, Uber, and Hyundai already adopting it. The message is clear. AI is moving out of the cloud and onto your desktop, into your factory, and your vehicle. Nvidia is betting that this shift will power the next big transformation, and they plan to lead the way. Meta is eliminating its third-party fact-checking program across Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, replacing it with community-driven notes, similar to those used by X, formerly Twitter. CEO Mark Zuckerberg framed the move as a push for free expression and less restrictive content moderation, marking a significant shift in the company's approach to misinformation. Meta will remove filters that previously flagged sensitive topics like immigration and gender, allowing political content back on its platforms. The focus will now be on illegal and high-severity content such as terrorism, child exploitation, fraud, and scams. And the move aligns with right-wing calls to roll back censorship and coincides with President-elect Trump's return to the White House. Coincidence? We think not. Joel Kaplan, Meta's new policy chief, described the fact-checking program as too politically biased and said Meta needs to rebuild trust in content moderation by moving its U.S. review team from California to Texas. Critics worry that eliminating fact-checking could increase digital risks, particularly for vulnerable users. However, Meta argues that the new policies will make platforms more reflective of mainstream public discourse. The shift marks a return to Meta's early-era approach of prioritizing free speech, but it raises concerns about the impact on misinformation globally. Scaling back those programs could have serious consequences. Frankly, for the second day in a row, I'm puzzled by what Meta is doing. If it's taking misinformation and saying it was politically influenced, it's saying for the past few years it's been a political actor on the stage, and we're supposed to trust that now it's not. Or it had a program to remove misinformation and is now content to let that misinformation stay on the platform. You can't have it both ways. That's our show for today. You can find show notes at technewsday.com or .ca. You can reach me at editorial@technewsday.ca. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a wonderful Wednesday.